listening to the Non-Del Influencers Podcast, brought to you by First Funding. Join host Matt Coles as he delivers powerful conversations to help non-delegated lenders succeed and scale in today's market.
Well, we're firing off another Non-Del Influencer Podcast today. Very excited to have Amanda Pad, Chief Revenue Officer of Secure Insight, joining us today. How's it going, Amanda?
Hey, Matt. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I can't believe we actually nailed you down at an office, because every time I see you, you're on the road. You're a good follow on social media for everyone.
Oh, that's a great compliment. I love that.
You're always on the road.
Yep. I am. It's been a whirlwind of a year, and it's only February, the middle of February, maybe almost March now. And you know what? Like you just mentioned, you see me all over the place, and the best way to stay relevant is just throwing yourself out there. So thank you for recognizing my consistency, and I'm glad it's paying off.
Yeah. So a couple of things that I like to talk to, the road warriors about is, one is, talk to me a little bit about your strategy as you head into a conference, right? Conference season kind of starts off slow, but we're going to start firing off on all cylinders here in March and April. Tell me a little bit about your strategy before and after a conference that kind of gets you to a place where you're making it impactful for you, right? We don't like to travel just to travel. You want to make it an impactful meeting for sure. So
sure.
What that looks like for you.
Yeah, that's great. Like, you don't want to just go to a conference just to go to a conference, although some people might, I'm not sure. But I know when I'm preparing for a conference, right, like, I'm going for a reason. And if it's the reason to meet with a certain audience or a certain amount of people, I always just set myself up for success. So in order to really make sure that the conference or the summit or wherever I'm going is worth it, I sit there and I evaluate my time. One thing I always stand behind, and you'll see me post about this, I don't book meetings before 10 o'clock in the morning, no matter where I am in the country. And there's a strategy behind that. One, I like to prepare myself mentally for the day. And two, if someone can operate from 8 a.m. to 12 o'clock at night, hats off to them, because I just cannot operate for more than 10 to 12 hours a day. So going into a conference, I will block out my schedule, but I will also take the attendee list, maybe that the conference provides, or a past attendee list from the same conference, to see if those same people are attending this year as well. And I try to fill my calendar with as many of those meetings at first. Now, you might get some people are like, hey, just catch me at the bar, catch me here, catch me there. So I don't always have, a standard full schedule of people that are my clients or prospective. What I've done at this point in my career is fill my calendar also with anyone that I can learn more about their business. Because my strategy is, if I learn more about what other people do for lenders, say we have the same clients, we're speaking to the same people, I become more valuable to a lender. Also, that educates other people in the industry about what I'm doing for the industry. So it goes both ways, and I fill my calendar very, very, very easily that way.
Yeah, that one of the things that someone on a past guest on this podcast has said before is, and I did this before, early in my career, I'd book like back-to-back meetings for like 5 or 6 hours in a row, and never left myself any time in between.
Sure.
I get really annoyed with my own voice after about 30 minutes. And so I've learned to start spacing out the meetings, because there are those hallway meetings, right, that take place that are also very important as a follow-up plan as well. So what about the follow-up plan? Let's talk about that, right? Because I think that's where, like, I got a very young sales team, and I think that their post-conference follow-up needs constant improvement, right? Because they're kind of like, oh, I called them, I followed up with them, but like, what's the 5th and 6th follow-up after a conference that happens as well, right? That's just as important. So what's your strategy behind that?
So that's a really good question. I don't think really like one specific answer, and that's because every relationship is different.
Right.
I base my follow-up based off of how the relationship started. Did this relationship exist before the conference? Did the relationship start organically at the conference? What are the foundations of how this conversation started? And then that leads me to my follow-up. If it's someone like I already had a really long relationship with, I might come back, rest, give myself like the end of the week, and then revisit Monday, Tuesday, like more like frequently than I would, someone I just met. Like if I have a good relationship, I'll follow up probably within the first week. Doesn't mean that they're going to respond, right? But I want to show, no matter if it's organic or not, or a new relationship, I should say, I want to show that I'm a person of my word. Because you go to these things and you probably know this. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, we'll follow up when we get home," right? But it's the people who are serious about that and stick to their word is the people that get remembered. Maybe I don't get an answer that first week back, but then I'll give it like 2 or 3 weeks or a month, or whatever it is. The time might not be right? Although what you're saying sounds good, it doesn't necessarily mean it fits into the workflow today. They might recognize it and remember the conversation 2 years down the line. I mean, in this industry, you cannot be so like stuck to a timeline. You have to go with the flow, if that makes sense. So what I would recommend is just base it off of the temperature of the relationship, right? Always send that follow-up. Say, hey, maybe the time isn't right now, but remember me when it is. And if not, when can I follow up with you again? If it's not right now, is not a good time. So it all depends on the relationship, but I think being consistent and following through with your word and not forgetting that conversation is important for these younger salespeople to remember.
One of the things that I implemented last year, it's been pretty successful. I'm pretty proud of myself because I didn't think I was going to be disciplined enough to do it, is the handwritten note for anyone that puts time on my calendar during a meeting, during a conference, right? I'm not working a booth so much anymore these days, as much as I'm having structured and scheduled meetings. When I go to a conference, I'll sit down with somebody for 30, 40 minutes to kind of talk through some stuff. If it's a meeting that was impactful for me, which typically are, I always try to get a handwritten note out within the week of having that conference. And not like a ton of feedback has come to me and said, "Oh, thank you for the note." But I do know, I know how I feel when I get a handwritten note in the mail. Very dying act of kindness that is, right? So I just try to get that out as soon as possible. It's been pretty successful. People have never rejected my meetings the second time around, so that seems to be the thing, right?
I know like you're asking me questions, but I can learn from this too, because that's actually something I'm working towards and something that's been in my brain, because like someone did that for me and I was blown away. Like I asked them for the meeting and then afterwards they sent me a gift. I was like, whoa, like I love that. So you know what I struggle with, and this is like going outside my comfort zone and the industry and how it's evolving. How do you know where to send it? Because everyone works all over the country now, right? Like, how do you know, like, although you might be in San Diego, California, your headquarters, but maybe, XYZ lender or person, whoever lives in Chicago, Illinois. Like, how do you know where to send it?
I think most people, I have a dear referral partner that's about to have a baby here in 6 weeks. So I just simply texted her. I'm like, hey, would you mind sharing me your home address? I want to send you something. So
see, that would be outside my comfort zone. So that's
a simple text like that would be fine. And I think people follow up on it. So we have a trade show coming up that's going to be happening that you actually encourage First Funding to take part in this year. I know it's a new location. What's the trade show? What are you most excited about? And where is it and what's going on?
Yeah, so I live here in New Jersey, so I have a huge investment in this this trade show, and I do attend it every single year, and I'm very excited because I get to speak here, and I got to talk to you about it, and ask other speakers to come and get involved. So New Jersey MBA is a really good association because it just doesn't just target New Jersey. it targets all the surrounding states. So we have lenders and vendors from all over, not just New Jersey, come in. And now this year, it was taken over by new event management and Heidi Belnay. I don't know if you know her, but if you don't know her, you need to know her. She is phenomenal, and she's really, really put together a great conference. And we moved it to a new venue this year, and that's because of Heidi. She's great. And we're doing it at the Oceans Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is a really beautiful hotel. And this year, everybody loves the exhibit halls, but there's also going to be other events that will be great. What really drew a lot of people last year is we had this kissing booth, right? Again, Heidi's idea, kissing booth, but kissing booth of puppies. And what people get to do if you want to sponsor, you buy like a sponsorship, which will put a bandana of a puppy, like the puppy's bandana of your company. And people went around taking pictures with puppies for social media and LinkedIn.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so cool.
That's
so
awesome.
I know we're going to do that again this year. There's a lot of sponsorship opportunities. This year, there's going to be a gala where everyone gets to dress up and look all fancy. Just different events, drawing like different types of cool events together. So we're excited, and we're really excited for First Funding to come.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's dive into it, right? Let's dive into Secure Insight. And, as the Chief Revenue Officer over there, tell everyone what Secure Insight does and how do you play into this non-delegated space? What's the role that you guys play out there?
Sure. So a little bit about Secure Insight. We are the mortgage industry's pioneer for third mitigation of settlement. So we were founded back in 2012 by Andrew Lippett, who's our CEO, founder, president, who's been a real estate serving all compliance aspects of the industry for his whole entire career. So we were built by mortgage industry veterans, title agent veterans, everyone that's already done this for many years came together and came up with this idea. So back then, lenders really didn't have any type of process in place to protect themselves against any type of wire and closing fraud. Okay.
Right.
What Secure Insight has, and we've been building this for over the last 14 years, is a database of over 95,000 fully vetted agents out there.
Right.
Now, that's anyone that's coming to the closing table to wire and disperse funds or handle documents for borrowers. So the reason that it's really risky is that the closing agent is handling all the funds. They're handling all the documents. There's the ones, handling things for the borrowers. If you think about it, the borrower is the most uneducated person at the closing table.
Right.
And rely on the closing agent and the real estate agent to give them some sort of direction. They don't know how to check wiring. If someone sends them an email and tells them to wire to this account, if they don't have experience like you or I, they're not going to know, like, how do I check this? How do I know you own this account, right? So that's where it started. And Secure Insight put this process in place for lenders before the CFPB even said to do it. So that's how long we've been doing this. So Secure Insight, companies, not serial entrepreneurs here. We've been doing this for a very long time. Now, how this associates with the non-delegated world is that the investor, controls underwriting, and then the non-delegated lender will, control still the closing and fundings, right?
Right.
So although, they're still controlling all of this, they have responsibility to do the due diligence on the closing agent. They don't lose the responsibility there. The risk is greater for them to put that process in place. So usually with the non-delegated lender, and I've been doing this for a very long time now, how they use our system is they check our system 3 times. They check our system as soon as they know who the closing agent is as early in the process. They want to make sure that they're already registered with us and all of that. But because our system is live in real time and we allow lenders to check as many times as they want throughout the process, they'll check again when they get the clear to close, because that means you're almost there, right? But again, a lot of my non-delegated lenders, what they'll do is pull right in the 11th hour prior to funding to make sure that nothing has changed.
Right.
So the way they have a process in place, all the risks are out the door. They have the process, they're ready to go, and nothing has changed. So The system is live and monitored. We know the process, could be drawn out, so they can check the system as many times as they want, which is really good.
Do you have a quick 30,000 level foot view of a story that somehow Secure Insight kind of saved the day? Like, is there a story that you go to on that side of it? Because I know for us over here at First Funding, we recently, it wasn't so recently, it was maybe 4 months ago, a processor sent in wire instructions that we found out were fraudulent. Not her fault. It was just somehow got put into the file, and the wire instructions were fraud. And when we went to go enter in that information, it, all red alerts came across. Does Insight have anything that they point to be like, this is the reason why we want to do this?
Yeah, so I've seen so many issues, and it usually lays on the title agent. Excuse me, the problem rises, right? So what happens is, the greatest issue of why this happens is business email compromise. What happens is that these fraudsters, I'll just use a generic story, because this happens all the time. I don't have one specific because it happens more often than it should. Yeah. What happens is these fraudsters and the technology these days are so savvy, right? They'll watch the email chain from day one of how the closing agent speaks with the borrower, right? They watch. It's like a study. And then they see how they communicate and how they talk to each other. And then they'll find the perfect time to just throw in an email, just like a test. And if that borrower responds okay, we're good, they'll write the same way, the same text, the same link, they'll be like, hey, Matt, da 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 da, instead of oh, dear Mr. Cole. So, whichever way that they're communicating, they'll follow and duplicate so that nothing seems off. And then in the 11th hour, what they'll do, which is so stinking scary, is they'll send another email and say, hey, Mr. Closing Agent, or hey, Mr. Borrower, these are the wiring instructions I need you to send it to. And the wiring instructions won't be far off. It will just be one number off, where the naked eye is not even going to be able to catch it. And to the borrower's defense, it looks the same to them, right? And send the funds anyway, even to the title agents. They're trying to just close loans. They're not paying attention. Okay, this is where I wire the funds. Great. You know what they do? They wire to it anyway without doing any type of due diligence. So
that's the challenge, right? And then you said something that's really impactful, which is, and I talk about this quite a bit in our world. I have been living and breathing mortgages for 25 years, 26 years now of my life. We're going to get into your history in the mortgage industry in a little bit. We do this all the time. The borrowers that we're talking to typically have 5 to 7 transactions in their lifetime, right? And that's we've done that before, 7 a.m. every day. And it's just protecting the borrower as much as you possibly can from anything, because God forbid something happens, right? And it's just gone. And trying to get that back has just got to be a nightmare for the average borrower to try to deal with. And I'm sure you can search the history of the internet for stories that have happened, and you every time you hear it, you're like, I can't believe someone is still. You
will not believe this. Just yesterday, we did post this. Just yesterday, it was released. The Chicago Poodle had an agent that they do the underwriting for, wired funds to a fraudulent account, and you will not guess how much it was for. $4.1 million. Just gone. That's it. Gone.
That's
never to be seen again. And who does that affect? That affects everyone.
Yeah.
The borrower, the title agent, the title insurer, everyone, because everyone's going to go like this. What did you do? They're just going to go like this to try to get it back, and it's gone.
So in this role, right? So at Secure Insight, you haven't always been the chief revenue officer. Take me through your journey that you've gone through to get to this place, and what has led to your success in your career so far?
So that's a really good question. So I like to always tell people that, or ask people, did you go to college to be in the mortgage industry? And what's the answer? Nobody went to college to be in the mortgage industry, right?
Yeah.
Like it's something you usually like just step into, or maybe it's people in your family have been in the mortgage industry, because no one just like goes to college to do that. If they do, I don't know of any program that does that, but that's great too. I think the MBA is trying to build one now, but
Right.
I did not go to college and say, hey, when I get to college, like I want to work, you know, at a fintech company. I actually interned for the company when I was in college. And then when I graduated, I got a job in the fashion industry, and I became a mom at a very young age. So I live in New Jersey and I was working in the city. So my days were like 16 to 18 hours long, taking New Jersey trips at the subways and all that. So that wasn't really conducive to a new parent or new mom, right? And so after going back to work for a little bit, I came back and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I can't do this. So then I reached back out to Secure Insight. We were Secure Settlements back then. And I was like, I really just want to come back and work for you guys. And they're like, yeah, sure. And I started from ground zero, literally. Wow. Doing like mailings, and you know, back then we were sending stuff to lenders as like promotional marketing. There was no Constant Contact, LinkedIn, like it didn't exist. So I will say I started from zero. I learned every single thing there was to know about the company, processing files. I did HR work, and like everything. I know that now to the company, right? So after a few years, they're like, well, you know, would you do sales? And I'm like, I have no mortgage industry background. How do you expect me to talk to lenders about lender mortgage industry related topics? And although I was a novice, right? Like I didn't know much about the mortgage industry. I knew enough to have a conversation, but you know what? It's how you present yourself and how confident you are, because it's not really always what you know. It might be who you know and how you present. Because if someone trusts what I have to say, they might listen, right? So I will say, like I said, I started from the ground zero. I worked my way through the whole entire company. I did sales for maybe 5 or 6 years. And then at one point last year, you know, the president of my company, we've been taking this company to next levels in the last couple of years. And he goes, I really need you to be our chief revenue officer and just team, because we're at that point. And I was like, me? Really? He's like, yeah. So I played a lot of different roles in this company, and I wear a lot of different hats, but that's what got me where I am today, just being open-minded and learning. And so that's where I am, and that's how I got here.
I love it, because, you know, I've said often, and I've said it a lot, this industry has given me many blessings, right, of growth and opportunity. And I'm so proud to be over at First Funding now, and I have such a great young sales team that I'm always encouraging them to be like, be inquisitive, you know, go sit with the people that have done this. You know, just because I have the role of manager, go sit down with, you know, our president or, you know, someone else in a different division and go talk about this industry, because this industry is so fruitful and so opportunistic for us to grow and to get anything that you want. You can achieve a lot in this industry without having the background of doing this, right? And you kind of gather that information and intelligence as you go through. So this industry is always, you know, I do say that we always used to stumble into the industry. I am starting to see a couple of young people that are like, I want to be in finance, in particular residential finance. It's a great opportunity for us, right? So it's fantastic. And I couldn't agree with you more. Sales is all about personality. The golden rule, people doing, you know, business with people that they like, that will never go away. I don't care what they tell me about AI. That's just never going to go away.
I'm not ready for that, but yes, I agree.
I want to get you out of here on this, because start off by saying you're a great follow on social media. One thing I do know about you, you are a boat aficionado. You love being on the water.
Yes.
How is it during the winter time when you can't get on the water as much as you like?
Ooh, that is so good, and that's a good question. So there's two ways I what would the word be? I take care of my blues during the winter here in New Jersey because it gets very cold, and we do have to winterize the boat here.
Yeah.
One is I visit places often warm that we can rent a boat.
Yeah, you look at that trade show calendar and you go, that's where I should be.
Oh, yeah. And then the second is, you're going to think I'm so crazy, but we go to a lot of boat shows, and not because like we want to buy another boat, just because we love them so much that it's like you're a sponge and you're learning more. And I'm like, I have young kids, so they love climbing on like all the big yachts and seeing all the things. They're like, can we get this boat yet next? I'm like, okay, it's like a yacht. I'm like, sure. But yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, it's nice because the boat, it takes up a lot of time. You know, it's a big responsibility. So I'm happy during cold months to take a reprieve, but I do like visiting places where I can rent a boat and not have to clean it after.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, by the time this one airs, I think we will be in daylight savings time. So I know you're probably looking forward to that as much as I do. As a golf guy who wants to go out and golf as much as I possibly can, getting dark at 5 o'clock is not conducive to having a great golf game. Although I do live in LA, so I can golf whenever I want. So I don't have to deal with the weather as much. All right, Amanda, I can't thank you enough for your time and opportunity to sit down with you today. I'm sure I'm going to see you on the road.
Yes.
If anyone sees you at a trade show, I would highly encourage everyone to take 10, 15 minutes of your time. You're such a wealth of knowledge and good information, and you can definitely help people out with whatever their goals are in the next world that they're going to roll. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Non-Del Influencer podcast.
All right. Thanks, Matt, for your time, and thanks for inviting me.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning into the Non-Del Influencers podcast, powered by First Funding. For more resources and episodes, visit nondelinfluencers.com.